Analysts at the US-based Institute for the Study of War have published a map identifying nearly 2,000 Russian military and industrial facilities potentially within the strike range of Tomahawk cruise missiles if they are transferred to Ukraine. The map shows two versions of the American missile, one with a range of 1,600 kilometers and the other with a range of 2,500 kilometers. Analysts estimate that at least 1,655 targets, including 67 airbases, are within range of the basic Tomahawk variant. The longer-range modification can hit approximately 1,945 targets, including 76 military airfields. Potential targets, according to the Institute, include a plant in Yelabuga and the Engels, 2 airbase in the Saratov region. According to ISW experts, the potential strike zone includes headquarters, weapons and fuel depots, arsenals, air defense facilities, repair facilities, military factories, and training grounds. Earlier, US President Donald Trump stated that he had generally made a decision to supply Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, but emphasized that he intended to first confirm with Kiev how exactly they were planned to be used. He emphasized that he was not seeking to escalate the conflict and wanted to understand the Ukrainian side's purposes for requesting these missiles. In Kiev, according to sources, they are considering the discussion of Tomahawk deliveries as part of Trump's diplomatic pressure on Moscow aimed at accelerating the negotiation process. Commenting on the possible deliveries, Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that such a move would lead to the destruction of our relations with the United States and would constitute crossing a red line. The head of state noted that Russia is adapting its air defense systems to the new type of threat. Although Ukraine's air defense has improved significantly and is now capable of intercepting most of the deadly drones Russia launches daily in droves, Kyiv is hoping for something beyond the additional support it requested from partners. Ukraine has asked for something strategically crucial to its goals, long-range missiles to strike Russia's launching pads instead of remaining limited to intercepting hundreds of drones and tens of missiles once they already reach Ukrainian skies. Fresh off the Gaza ceasefire deal, US President Donald Trump suggested that he might allow the sale of Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. They would give Kyiv the ability to hit deeper into Russia's rear and make those strikes more powerful and precise. As Trump and his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelenski prepare to meet in Washington on Friday, the issue of Tomahawks is high on the agenda, if not at the top. He would like to have Tomahawks, Trump said of Zelensky. "We have a lot of Tomahawks." Euronews sources among Ukrainian officials said Kyiv is doing its best to outline to Washington why it needs Tomahawk missiles, what long-range weapons the country already has, and what Ukraine is lacking, and that this will be discussed at the White House. Asked about US President Donald Trump's comments expressing his disappointment in President Vladimir Putin's refusal to end the hostilities in Ukraine, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov blamed Ukraine for the pause in negotiations on Wednesday. According to Associated Press, it comes as Trump on Sunday warned Russia that he may send Ukraine long-range Tomahawk missiles if Moscow doesn't settle its war there soon, suggesting that he could be ready to increase the pressure on Putin's government using a key weapon system. President Putin has repeatedly stated that he is open to shifting the entire process to a political and diplomatic channel, Peskov told reporters. "There are problems with it now, which aren't our fault. Those problems stem from the fact that the Kiev regime is provoked daily by the Europeans to continue the war. Under these circumstances, we currently see no alternative to the current pause." He added that, of course, we are grateful to the American side for its readiness, repeatedly expressed at various levels, to continue promoting a peaceful settlement.
Президент Путин неоднократно говорил, что он открыт для перевода всего процесса в политико-дипломатическое русло. Сейчас с этим проблемы. И проблемы не по нашей вине. Проблемы из-за того, что киевский режим ежедневно провоцируется европейцами на продолжение войны. В этих условиях в настоящий момент пока вот каких-то альтернатив сложившейся паузы мы не усматриваем. Мы, конечно же, признательны американской стороне за неоднократно на различных уровнях заявлявшую еще готовность дальше способствовать мирному урегулированию. Что касается российской экономики, она обладает достаточным и изрядным запасом прочности для того, чтобы позволить руководству страны и нам всем реализовывать те планы, которые мы перед собой ставим.
Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted Syrian interim President Ahmad al-Shara at the Kremlin for the first time on Wednesday. According to Associated Press, al-Shara led a swift rebel offensive last year that ousted former Syrian President Bashar Assad despite years of Moscow's support. The meeting underlines Russia's desire to establish working ties with Syria's new leadership and secure its military foothold in the country. Putin said ties between the two countries have never been connected to the political situation, but instead guided by the interests of the Syrian people. Assad was an ally of Russia, and Moscow's scorched earth intervention in support of him a decade ago turned the tide of Syria's civil war, keeping him in his seat until his swift removal in December. Russia, which has focused on the fighting in Ukraine and kept only a small military contingent in Syria, didn't try to counter the rebel offensive but offered asylum to Assad after he fled the country. Syrian state news agency Sana reported that al-Shara and Putin will discuss regional and international developments of mutual interest and explore ways to develop cooperation to serve the common interests of both countries. Despite having been on opposite sides of the battle lines during the civil war, the new rulers in Damascus have taken a pragmatic approach to relations with Moscow. Russia has retained a presence at its air and naval bases on the Syrian coast, and the Kremlin has voiced hope for negotiating a deal to keep the outposts. Moscow has also reportedly sent oil shipments to Syria. A Russian delegation visited Damascus in January, and Syria's Foreign Minister Asad al-Shibani visited Moscow in July.
Уважаемый господин президент, уважаемые коллеги, мы очень рады вас приветствовать в Москве. В России никогда в отношении Сирии не было никаких каких-то отношений, связанных с нашей политической конъюнктурой или с особыми интересами. Мы всегда руководствовались на протяжении всех этих десятилетий одним – интересами сирийского народа.
تربط ما بين سوريا وروسيا، واليوم نحن في سوريا الجديدة حاولنا أن نعرف عن سوريا الجديدة من خلال كل دول العالم إنتاج الروسي، وأيضا كثير من محطات الطاقة معتمدة على الخبرات الروسية، وكثير من العلاقات الاستراتيجية والسياسية سواء دول